What's up, bros and hoes, whatever floats your goat? It's Relentless, and I hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. Wherever in the world you may be, I hope things are looking bright for you, and that everything is just going amazingly well for you on this Thursday. And I am bringing you yet another Division build video slash best in slot when it comes to the SASG, as well when it comes to SMGs and ARs. Also, to go hand in hand with all that, we're going to be looking at the most versatile, best overall base damage for those that have potato aim, such as me, and that, the stacks for Striker completely don't really work out too well unless someone is standing directly in front of you, and, they're not moving, so that way you can proc those stacks. And yes, Striker, in that instance, if you can land every single shot and complete those stacks and those damage range goes up, up, and up, then yes, Striker would be hands down the most powerful gear set there is when it comes to actually using a weapon and putting out damage and DPS. Now, if you have potato aim like me, then this gear set that I'm about to show, I feel, is the most versatile, it's the most complex, it gives you the most talents at your disposal to use to unleash and dish out the most damage possible, and no matter what the situation may be. But first and foremost, let's hop into the weapons. Now, as you can see, I got a classic AK-47, and its talents are Deadly, Destructive, and Adept. Now, Adept can be changed out for Competent, Unforgiving. The list goes on and on and on. This is something I actually wanted to try to more or less put on a crit build when using an AR. And this is both viable in PvP and PvE. It has great base damage, even though the RPMs are a little bit low. For this particular weapon, then, of course, you want to go rate of fire, crit hit chance, and magazine size. Those are the three keys for any magazine, with the exception of some. The LVOAC, you could go a little bit more on stability-wise or crit damage. But basically, no matter what it is, if it already has like 900 RPM, the magazine size, crit chance, crit damage in a magazine will be the way to go. But yet, if you're using a weapon such as the AK or something with a lot lower RPM, then you want magazine size, crit chance, and rate of fire. I haven't seen too many magazines with extended mags, rate of fire much higher than 5.2. I believe I've seen 5.4, maybe. That golden unicorn if that golden unicorn is out there, then that might exist. But 0.2% is not exactly that much. Moving on to the scope, as you can see, holographics. There's also a mini reflex sight out there that has crit hit chance, crit hit damage, headshot damage. That would be the way to go. Such as this one right here, if you want to go with the crit hit damage, headshot damage. It all depends on what kind of build that you're actually going for. Such as this one right here. It's easy to switch over to it. Crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and gives you that little bit of stability. That is if you are going for crit chance on an AR. If you're trying to stack on that, so that way you're critting more often, depending on your build, then that is the way to go. But basically, in my opinion, I want as much crit hit chance as I can with my AR, so that's why I go with that route. Now, moving on to the underbarrel. It's just purely situational. As you can see, the reload speed for the AK is not that bad. But yet, if you're a hardcore PvPer and rely on, putting weapons downrange, then you want to stack reload speed. And let's just say you have reload speed on your hand stop. As you can see, 29%. Again, gives you a little more accuracy and a little stability. But in turn, if you're going to roll reload speed onto your hand stop, then vice versa, you would want it on your holster as well, because then that would boost up your reload speed ever so much and be a significant amount of change when it comes to putting damage downrange. Now you're going to lose some damage just due to the simple fact of by putting on like a small grip, such as 19% crit hit damage, and you're thinking, well, if I'm going to stack crit, then I need to stack crit damage. Well, this is true, but if you want to crit more often, but yet lower the chances of actually getting gunned down while you're reloading, if somebody's stacked on reload speed, such as on your underbarrel and on your holster, and they're rocking 50 to 60% reload speed, then definitely if you have it on your holster, then you would want it on any gun that you're using, because you think about it, if it takes 2 seconds to reload and you got that equipped and you're getting, let's just say for overall base round number of 50% reload speed, then that's 1 second. So basically in, you say 1, you reloaded. You fire a clip downrange, 1, you reloaded. I mean, it's just, popping off. Even though you're losing some base damage when you are critting, we know you can't hit crit cap without using pulse on an AR, but let's just say, for instance, you are using pulse. And then plus you have the reload speed, then you're going to be doing a significantly enough damage downrange to where I recommend reload speed if you already have it on your holster as it already is, because then that's going to be very viable and vital in PvP. But if you're stacking on crit chance on single thing you get possible, and you're running pulse, then you don't need the reload speed. You should opt in for the crit hit damage, accuracy, and stability. Or we'll get into the optimum range a little bit later. But basically, that's what you want on a hand stop: crit hit damage, stability, reload speed. The reload speed gives you a little bit. You don't need much stability on the AK. And then moving on to the suppressor. 18% crit hit damage, crit hit chance, headshot damage. Those are the 3 trifecta talents that you actually want on a suppressor. And as you can see on this one, I have 18% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage, and 3% crit hit chance. And also it goes well with my camo. But basically that's what you want to have on an AR. Now, pending on what kind of build you're running and what kind of theory that you're going with, whether you want to stack on crit, or if you're okay with just having a little bit of crit, as far as the average is around 20 to 30%, which is adequate for an AR, and then just stack on headshot damage and more or less crit damage. I prefer, just for the simple fact I have potato aim. But let's move on to the sausage. Now, the sausage has become a unique weapon as far as when it comes to either last stand or just roaming the DZ with PvP. Now, there's 2 ways to go about this. You want rate of fire, definitely. Definitely want rate of fire on an SMSG, because that way you're putting more bullets downrange as far as landing in your target, and when that stagger stacks up and they're unable to hit you, then that's what you want. But in order to more or less, how you say, lost my train of thought. But anyways, if you want to complement that with the rate of fire, then my suggestion is to go optimal range. Because as you can see, with optimal range at 49.5% optimal range, 2% accuracy, and a little bit of crit hit damage, that's doing great. And then if you, on the other flip side, you go with a EXP3 holographic sight with an additional 24.5% range with crit hit chance and crit hit damage, look at the range bar as you can see on the top right. Now let's go to a MP5 and look at that. Significant drop off. So basically, if you're wondering how you can get staggered and hit from a medium range and getting a lot of damage being done to you from a shotgun or sausage, well, this is the reason why. And I have a brutal, responsive, and most importantly, the competent on it. Because weapon damage increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using a skill. So therefore, if you are running pulse, you pop that baby, and then you pop your booster shot, and then basically you can 3-tap anybody, even with a sausage, and they're basically done. So as you can see, rate of fire, crit chance, magazine size, optimal range, crit hit chance, critical hit damage, and then optimal range, accuracy, and crit hit damage. Now, if you have mods out there with better stats, by all means, slap them puppies on, but you definitely want optimal range on your small optics and your small underbarrel on the SASG. Now, let's go on to the SMGs. As you can see, we definitely want rate of fire, crit hit chance, and magazine size. Those are the 3 trifectas you want. Even though the base RPM of MP5 ST is 800, you still want as much bullets going downrange as possible. And you want to stack on crit chance if you're going for a crit chance build. And here is the Rugged Mini Reflex Sight. As you can see, 7.5% crit hit chance, 5.5% headshot damage, and 4% crit hit damage. On the underbarrel, you want to go crit hit damage, accuracy, stability, or you can go crit hit damage, reload speed, accuracy. But definitely you want the most crit hit damage that you can get on your underbarrel. Now, the Tyrant Suppressor is one of my go-tos personally. If I want to stack as much crit chance as possible without actually speccing it into any gear or whatnot. So I go with the 7% crit hit chance, 5.5% headshot damage, along with another crit hit damage. But here's the situation and scenario. If you are running 150k skill power or more, then I would do away with the Tyrant Suppressor and go with something that's going to pack a little bit more punch, and go with a Loud Vent Break. Something on that line that'll give you an additional crit hit damage, because in my opinion, as long as you reach the 50% mark, and 60 is the cap when it comes to crit hit chance, that's 50-50, and that's on each bullet, not the whole magazine. So therefore each bullet has a 50-50 chance, and I think that is good where it's at, so you don't need to be fully capped out on it. So therefore, if you want to stack on crit hit damage and your Rugged Mini Reflex Sight, and go with crit hit damage on your Vent Break, as well as your underbarrel, then by all means do so. And as you can see, the way I got it set up now, I'm at 52% crit hit chance and 91% crit hit damage, that's what I think is best. If you want to go crit build, the only way to run an SMG is to actually go crit. But anyways, let's jump into the build. I think I branded on enough about the weapons and the weapon talents for the SMG, the AR, and the SASG. Now, in my opinion, overall, best build in the division as far as versatility, the number of weapons that you have in your arsenal, not the weapons that you're actually using, but the weapons that it gives you from the talents of these gear pieces, you know, used in sync and in unison and working cohesively together, what makes this build very, very potent. And if you practice with it and know how to use it, then you are going to be one to be reckoned with in the DZ or in Last Stand. Let's start with the holster. It's a decent holster. I wish the main stat stamina roll was a little bit higher, but I chose to reroll off the health and went with the skill haste instead. And this is the Colonel Bliss's holster. Hitting a target consecutively with a sidearm increases your damage with all weapons by 2% for 20 seconds. The effect stacks until 10 shots, after which the stack is consumed and triggers an EMP effect. Okay, so let's think about this. If the way the DZ has been going, and it has been for a while now, people just standing around waiting for somebody to go rogue so they can pounce on them like a toiga. They're toy like a toiga. And they're too afraid to start off first. But if you're, getting tired of that and you just want some action and want to get things started, then if you have a Colonel Bliss holster, just pick your target, pop them a few times, 4 or 5 times with your sidearm, get that stacks, and then lay waste to them. And then we have the Skull MC gloves. Damage is increased by 16% when no set bonuses are active. And as you can see, my weapon of choice, the SMG, and crit hit chance and crit hit damage, which is the trifecta of what you want to see on any set of gloves. The weapon of choice, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. Now going on to the backpack, without having to spec too much into electronics, the specialized backpack is the go-to. As you see, I got 1250 in electronics, and the talent on this adds 200% of firearms and stamina to skill power. So it takes that accumulation of your firearms and your stamina and gives you a nice, healthy bulk of electronics and skill power. As you see, I've switched to something else, and it immediately drops to 101. So it gives you a significant chunks. And on this, I opted for the major attributes, the 13,257 in health, and then my minor. I'd rather that be ammo capacity, but bleed resistance does come in handy when it comes to those predatory builds that's running to DZ. And in the mod slots, I have 261 firearms, 3% skill haste, and 6% first aid self heals to help out on the survivability issue. And as you can see, I got good rolls on my armor on both, and we all know what knee pads are coming. Yes, it's the infamous short bow knee pads. 1258 stamina, decent roll there. Attributes, you could substitute the knee pad attributes for something more along the lines that fits your playstyle. So I opted in for the crit hit damage just because I had to roll the main stat on these because it was really, really low. And luckily, after 20 rolls, I finally got one roll that was over 1250. Thank you, RNG guys. That just made me waste almost $1 million just to try to get, something at least over 1250 in stamina. So I opted in the crit hit damage. That helps out in my crit build when running an SMG. And I have bleed resistance, blind death resistance, damage to elites. Damage to elites plays a factor in when it comes to the PvE side. But the blind death resistance, I wish that was burn resistance instead. Because you want burn resistance, bleed resistance, and shock resistance in your minor attributes. Those are the three go-tos for your minor attributes on your D-pads. In the mod slots, I wish I could come across a higher firearms mod with skill haste, but after rolling 3 to 350 mods to try to get one, this is the best one it gave me, and the RNG, as we all know, really sucks. And then another 5% first aid self-heal. Moving on to the mask. The Tenacious Mask has become an offensive weapon. I have a great armor roll on it at 1,000 and it only goes to 1,001. I wish the stamina stat was at least 1250 or more, but 1236 will do. It's the best one I was able to find. And I opted in, instead of the 3.5% crit chance, I found it more viable to have the 9,049 skill power instead. And the minor attributes, another disorient resistance, but like I said, I'd rather have bleed resistance, burn resistance, or shock resistance in my minor attributes, especially when it comes to roaming the DZ and PvE. And then my mod slot, 259 firearms with another 3% skill haste. Now this is where what can be universal when it comes to chest pieces. But as you can see, I opted in for the rapid. Decreases cooldown for healing skills by 15%. And so since I've stacked on skill haste, as you can see in my minor attributes, 7% skill haste with health on my major, then this comes in nice and handy. I could go with Barrett's chest piece, a vigorous chest piece, but in this situation, when skill power and survivability plays a big factor and big role, especially in the Dark Zone or in Last Stand, then I recommend trying out the rapid chest piece. And also make sure you're, at least on your chest piece and your backpack, you have ammo capacity. Preferably, in my preference, I would ever have ammo capacity on both. Because, like I said, I have potato aim, so I need as many bullets as I can so I can just shoot them down range. And then my mod slots, I have 263 electronics with 3% skill haste and 239 firearms with 3% skill haste. Now, if you have better gear, as the ones that I have here, with better main stat rolls, then my numbers across the top, especially as far as toughness and DPS-wise, those numbers would actually go up significantly. But as it stands right now, these are the best ones that I have. And this works out really well. I completely melt people. And I'll be honest, I run the SASG. And I switch it up either with my MP5 ST, or I will rock my M4, or I even have an LBOAC, or a classic AK-47. Now, some people say, you know, you want to use 2-striker when running LVOAC, and even sometimes police and 4, or put stability on your backpack or your holster, so that way it can help counteract. But if you use the weapon long enough, and really know your weapons, learn the recoil patterns of those weapons, and you won't need stability on them, because on your sticks, you will know how to adjust your aim and put pressure on where it needs to be on your right thumbstick, so that way you can compensate for the recoil pattern, whether it be up to down, left and right, or accumulation of both. So necessarily you don't have to put on stability on anything if you know the recoil pattern. But this is my thoughts, my opinion. It's been proven in the DZ over and over and over. You can see those PvP videos, the Teabag Assassin, the evolution of teabagging in my videos on my channel. Some of the links are in the description below, and you will see this completely decimates. And also it has a high grade amount of survivability, especially when it comes to surviving in PvE and PvP. 52% crit hit chance, 91% crit hit damage, 12% damage to elites. That plays out in PvE. Skill power 154k, and my skill haste is at 29%. So let's go over to my... So if I was to run Overdose, 35 seconds, and then, you know, the cooldowns, and then if you have Triage equipped in your talents, and teammates take turns running in and out triaging that, then that's going to reduce your cooldowns even more. And also, even if you're running booster shot, as you can see, you know, you can get it under 28 seconds with triage, so it works out really nice, and you're still getting a healthy amount of heal with that. Now, if you choose to go, say, Immunizer, you're still putting out enough healing speed to help out your teammates. And the sky's the limit, depending on, you know, whatever skills you prefer to using or whatnot. But I suggest try out an SASG with this build and this setup right here. And be sure to stack on that optimal range. Get it over 70% optimal range. And just walk in there and just start flooring people. Believe me, they will not know what hit them. And also, before I take off, since this video has been going on long enough, be sure to check out Revolution Gaming. Their Facebook link is in the description below. It's an up-and-coming gaming community, not just Division-based, but on all gaming platforms and for all games, such as Rainbow Six Siege, H1Z1, Battlegrounds Unknown, Destiny 2 updates and info that are coming. Also Destiny 1. We have tons and tons of community members just waiting to help out and whatever they may be. Whatever, if it is Division, if you need someone to help you complete incursions, or, you know, just want somebody to hang out with and just have fun, you know, ganking people in the DZ, then that is the place to be. So come check out Revolution Gaming. The Facebook link is in the description below. And also, if you're looking for an awesome pro gaming controller, then I suggest don't look at Scuff. They're pricey and they also don't last too long. But if you're looking for something that's high tech, that has versatility and survivability, especially if you like raging and dropping or throwing things, then the Cinch controller will last you a heck of a lot longer than a Scuff controller will, and plus it's not as pricey as a Scuff, and you can use code CINCH4206 to receive 5% off. But that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Any suggestions on what games that you would like to see me play and stream or whatnot, then also leave them in the description below. And also check out the giveaway that is currently going on. We're only 100 and I believe 19 subs away from giving away a $180 Cinch controller with the Cinch Tech technology that you can remap the buttons on the back, never have to remove your thumbs off the joystick to reload or whatever the case may be, and you can remap the button just by using an app on your phone. So go check out that video. That video is in the link in the description below, and be sure to enter in for that giveaway. And the best way to enter in is like the video, sub, and comment the platform of choice. That gives you 3 entries right there, and it's absolutely free to do all 3 of those. So go check that out. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we'll see you.
I got broads in Atlanta, just to lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van.